Dog's lesson. Once upon a time in a quiet village, there lived a dog named Max. Max was a street dog who had to fend for himself every day. One sunny morning, as he was wandering the streets in search of food, he spotted a butcher's shop with the door ajar. The aroma of fresh meat was irresistible, and Max couldn't resist the temptation. He sneaked into the shop and found a juicy bone. Max happily grabbed the bone in his mouth and dashed out of the shop. With the bone in his mouth, he ran towards a secluded spot near a river to savor his unexpected feast. As he reached the riverbank, he gazed at his reflection in the water. However, he didn't realize that it was his own reflection. He thought it was another dog with an even bigger bone. Envy and greed overcame Max. He decided that he wanted the other dog's bone as well. Ignoring the fact that it was his own reflection, he barked threateningly, hoping to scare the other dog away. But, of course, his reflection only responded with a menacing growl. Max, determined to get the other dog's bone, jumped into the river with a splash. To his dismay, his bone sank into the water as he tried to snatch the other dog's bone. As he emerged from the water, wet, cold, and boneless, he realized his foolishness. The moral of the story is clear: greed can lead to losing what you already have. Max had a delicious bone in his mouth, but he was so consumed by envy for something he couldn't have that he ended up losing it all. It's a lesson for all of us to be content with what we have and not let envy and greed cloud our judgment. Gratitude and contentment lead to a happier and more fulfilling life. Farmer and the Golden Goose. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a poor farmer named Jack. He owned a small plot of land and had just enough to feed his family. Life was hard, and Jack often wished for better days. One sunny morning, as Jack was plowing his field, he hit something hard with his plow. To his amazement, it was a golden goose. The goose was unlike anything he had ever seen, shimmering in the sunlight. Jack decided to take the golden goose home. As he carried it, he couldn't help but think of all the wealth it could bring him. He imagined the golden eggs it would lay, each worth a fortune. When Jack reached home, he placed the golden goose in a cozy corner of his small cottage. The goose settled in comfortably, but there was no sign of any golden eggs. Jack became impatient and thought the goose might need some coaxing. One day, unable to contain his curiosity any longer, Jack decided to take a peek inside the goose. To his surprise, there were no golden eggs inside. Instead, he found a normal goose, just like any other. Jack felt cheated and upset. He realized that he had let his greed cloud his judgment. He had been given a valuable gift, but he had destroyed it in his quest for more. The moral of the story is clear: greed can lead to the loss of valuable things. Jack's greed had blinded him to the true worth of the golden goose. If he had been patient and content with the goose as it was, he could have enjoyed a lifetime of golden eggs. Instead, he ended up with nothing. The story teaches us the importance of being content with what we have and not letting greed and impatience lead us to make foolish decisions.